For the first quad of being ethical and legal, I chose if someone were to report a drunk driver. So that would be the person who is doing something that they see right. If they see someone that's driving drunk, they choose to report that. That's ethically right. And then also it's legal to do that. And then obviously there's really no laws with that. And then the two of the ethics principles that I chose would be justice, because you're obviously trying to stop or prevent something from happening, so you're getting justice for that. And then also beneficence. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but to do good. The second one that I chose for if it's ethical but it's illegal would be someone maybe who like works in insurance and they committed insurance fraud in order to help a patient get like treatment or money or whatever it is that they needed due to them not being able to financially support themselves. So with that, obviously you're breaking the law because it's insurance fraud, and that is something that you can either get fined for, you can go to jail. Sometimes I think that you could even lose your license too for selling insurance. But then, like, the ethical principle that I chose was again the beneficence. So, because the person is trying to do good, even though it is breaking the law, but like their intention is good. For something that is unethical but legal, it made me think about the story with Dr. Death. That was a neurosurgeon in Texas, and he kind of would go into both categories from like quadrant 3 and 4, but I'm going to use him for 3 for this because at first he really didn't do anything wrong in the beginning. He just wasn't ethically doing it correct. So his intentions weren't good, but he did, he was a doctor, he did graduate from med school, he did do everything right that he was supposed to. However, he was, ethically, he was not doing the right things for the patients, which it did end up that he did break the law and he is now in jail. So he kind of goes in 4, but we'll use him for 3. So that I would say would be the non-maleficence, and then truthfulness. And then for quadrant 4, which is unethical and illegal, I found an article about a dentist that worked in a North Island prison, and he was not sterilizing his instruments. So instead he would just run the instruments underwater after he would use them and wipe them down with a paper towel, which actually resulted in a lot of patients getting exposed to like hepatitis B and C. So that obviously is breaking the law, but you're also being very unethical with that. And that is almost like every principle with the ethics, because it's, you're like truthfulness, because you're not being truthful with it. You're not, you're doing harm to the patients. So, you're not being honest with how you're acting as a dentist, which is really scary to think about. So far, what I've learned in this chapter, I thought it was really interesting, actually. I didn't know that these could be categorized this way into just 4 different categories, how they were. I don't know if I necessarily see new aspects to the examples that I found for question 1. I think it just makes you think like a little bit deeper with the situations about, is it really ethically wrong, or is it unethical, or is it really illegal? So you kind of have to really like read into the situation and figure out which one it is and where it really goes. As a healthcare manager, I think that this would really help in hospitals or wherever you're working to like whenever you have a situation that's presented to you and you can figure out, okay, well, what category does it go into? And like, let's say if it was one of your staff workers that, for example, gave a patient medication that they couldn't pay for, so that would be ethical, but it would be maybe not illegal. But anyways, so it just would help you to, you know, figure out, well, what were they really doing, what were their intentions, and to help you keep everything like sorted out and organized. And the quadrant that I had the most trouble finding an example for would probably be the first one. I went back and forth with quite a few different options with that, because you really, I mean, something that's ethical and legal, I don't know why it was so hard to figure something out. Obviously the book gave the example whistleblowers, and then that made a lot of sense, but I don't know, I feel like there's probably a ton, it was hard for me to figure it out. The other three were actually really easy to figure out. So it was a very interesting chapter. I'm glad that we got to read it and do this assignment.